Hi, everyone. Welcome back, or welcome if this is the first go around with While You Wait. You're picking a solid episode to start and learn all about Jenna.
Oh boy. Hello.
So, I wrote out some questions and I didn't know if Jenna was going to look at them or not. And she's like, I have to tell you, I just looked at them. And the first question I'm so nervous about. So I promised her I was not going to ask her this first question first, so we don't like it too intense to start out with on our time together to learn all about you today.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
We'll like notify you what question that is when it comes.
Yes. Yes. So
But
good.
but yeah, I peeked at them, but then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna trust my line too
I love that.
and trust my wisdom in the moment.
Absolutely. And just like your experience, right?
Yeah,
Like the whole point of this
true.
is just so we get to learn a little bit more about you, kind of, your background, your passions, what life has been like, what you want life to look forward to, and all that good stuff. And with a lot of human design. I do have human design questions
Mhm.
sprinkled throughout as well. But just want to start with like, how are things? How are things going this week? How you feeling? What's going on?
Things are good.
Yeah.
If I could describe my energy, let's see, what would it be? I feel calm.
Ooh, calm. Okay.
I was saying before we jumped on, I don't
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of clarity
Yeah.
right now
Yep.
for certain reasons. But I'm like okay with it. I'm like in full-blown observation mode this week. I'm just observing myself and observing everything around me. Even though I do that all the time, it just feels very like activated right now.
Right. Like a grounding
Mm-hmm.
practice right now for you.
Mm-hmm. Just like listening, like paying attention to my thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to my emotions. I'm just very aware of myself right now without feeling like I have to make sense of any of it.
Oh, well, that sounds lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yeah.
it. And would you
Yeah.
say previously or Jenna before human design was calm something you could access?
Not I don't think it was actually like I wasn't actually calm like I thought I
Oh,
was,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
but my body was in a state of stress. My mind was racing, but I didn't know it as
Yep.
much.
Oh,
Like
that's
I
such a good
didn't
call
know that
out.
it was that toxic.
Yes.
How are
Yes, that
you?
like I'm great. There's a lot of moving and grooving this week.
How was your weekend with David?
It was so good. Okay, so everyone, we went to Salt Lake City. It was
Mm-hmm.
a 5 hour road trip to celebrate David's birthday. And it was great. I mean, it's one of those things that like, I don't know, I could have been in the car for 9 hours with him. Like, yeah, like, oh, it's been 5 hours. Okay. Now, granted, I was the passenger the whole time. So I got the good
That's
end of that bargain.
usually my role too.
Yeah, yeah. It was like uber windy. It snowed part of the time. Like, oh yeah. I gave him like back rub when we got home. Like, okay, your
Aw.
back's probably so tense
Because
right
it was
now.
like what, a 5-hour drive for you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Good solid 5 hours in there.
Yeah.
But it was lovely. It was just so nice to get away and like, well, not necessarily even get away, like see new things. Like
Mm-hmm.
we walked around, downtown's really walkable. I mean, it was cold. Oh my God. It was a cold wind, but we trekked through it. Ate super tasty food. We really lucked out with the places we decided to eat. So it was just fun. It was fun to check out new places and like I didn't even bring my computer. Like that was like not going
Oh,
to happen.
love that.
Yeah.
Did you
So it was
feel a sense
wonderful.
of peace without it?
Oh, I didn't even think about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
it
it was.
wasn't
Yeah. Oh.
wasn't a factor. There was one thing he said, "Oh, we should look up something." I don't even remember what it was. I thought, "Oh yeah, that would be easier to do on a computer." We didn't do it anyway, so
Yeah.
it's all good.
Oh, I'm so glad you guys had so much
No.
fun.
We did. We did have fun. And you had some fun too this past weekend.
Yeah, I had a bachelorette night. It was just a
Yeah.
chill night. That was super fun. And then Sunday, so Nick's friends, they have a run club. You know, they
Fun.
run every Sunday and go get beers after. And I went and I walked. So
Perfect.
I'm not a runner, even though I'm trying to act like one. I'm working out on the treadmill and stuff, but I don't love running. But
Sure.
it was really fun.
Great. Why was it fun?
I mean, just to be around people,
Yeah.
like new people, I should
Right. I
say.
was gonna say, did
Like
you know
it was
any of
like, no,
them?
I didn't. I mean, I knew two of them a little bit, but yeah, it
Yeah.
was just nice to be around new people and like do something that wasn't my norm.
Yeah. How big is
Yeah.
his club, his group?
It was, I mean, I think it's bigger, but there was only 7, 8
Oh,
people
that's
there.
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so
Felt like a
fun.
runner. I felt like a runner on Sunday.
I'm just so active. Look at
Tried on
that.
that archetype and that identity. It was fun.
I love it. And then there beer afterwards?
Yes. I
Okay,
mean, I
great.
don't drink beer because of the gluten,
Yeah,
but
that would be
I
not
had
the
a seltzer.
nice. Perfect. That's just like a fun, like community.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it was. It was like very, I mean, it's their network, you know, they're
Yep.
already in a network, but it was fun to kind of like go and taste a network that I'm not in. Like that's kind of what
Love
it was. It
it.
was like I was experimenting with
Oh,
another network.
that's perfect.
Yeah, it was cool.
Love that. Look at
Shout
us
out to the
just,
run club.
yeah, exactly. Anyone listening? Did you
Yeah.
promote while you wait?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, I love it. They can listen to it while they're running. We can
Yeah.
just entertain them.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. But yeah, it was a nice weekend.
Good. Good, good, good. Well, I would love to start asking some questions, but
Let's do it.
and this is going to start selfishly because Jenna and I, how long have we known each other?
Like 3 years, I feel
Okay,
like
that's
now.
what I was going to say, like 3 years. And we've talked about all the things, all the things and all the variety of ways to talk about it. But one thing that I'm like, I don't really know, like middle school, elementary Jenna, like what was she like? What did she like? How did you enjoy spending a weekend afternoon at like that age?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna start with elementary school.
Great.
Um, I wrote a lot of books.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I I mean, I believe this is what I spent most of my time doing was like writing and drawing and like, you know, doing different art projects in the house, but it was a lot of writing. Like
So
I
fun.
would write poems. I mean, I found poems about like death that I wrote as a little kid.
Right.
I wrote these Bob and Ted books. Like
Oh.
I had so many little series that I made that I was like, I'm going to
Wow.
publish a little series of books. And luckily my mom did keep all of those and it's so cute to look back.
That's so great.
But I also like, okay, elementary school, I was
Yeah.
very imaginative.
Oh,
So I
okay.
was often like, I was doing the playing house,
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes.
playing school and teacher with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I played business.
Ooh,
I
what
don't know
kind of
how you do
business?
that. I don't know. It was just, I don't know if there was like always a subject, but I was just,
Like
I did
making the
business.
deals.
Yeah. Um, but it's funny too, because I can remember, and I know we've talked about this, and when I peeked at your questions, like this immediately came up, like this memory. So it was kind of cool. But I
Great.
know I talked about this in the Raw Joy episode, but I'm fascinated with interior design and decorating. You know, I decorated my mom's house, like my kitchen,
Right.
like helped her with that recently, and I got this like spark of
Mm-hmm.
joy from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember what age this came through, but I remember like, and it's so interesting if I could describe it energetically, it's just like a
Ooh,
moment
okay.
of interest versus like I played school all the time. I played house all the time. I like did all those imaginary like things all the time. I wrote books all the time. But this feeling of, I can remember it might have been middle school where I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be an interior designer.
Wow, in middle school.
Middle school might have been early high school even. I
Oh,
can't
sure.
remember. Like it's not super clear, but I like have
Yeah.
this like, and it's probably my spleen talking like, yes. It's this very
Mm-hmm.
potent moment where I was like, oh my God, I'm so fascinated by design.
Wow. Was it like in a museum or a house? And or like, were there environments
Well,
that you felt that?
I don't even know if this is a real memory. I
I
think it
love it.
is. Like, but I can remember walking into an office, um, like an architect's office. And
Yeah.
my parents built their house. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the house I grew up in, they built it. So I think this is a real memory, but like I remember walking into the office and seeing this guy like talk about the rooms and showing us like a
Yeah.
plan. And I was like, I want to be an architect. Like I got like all excited about that. And I went home and like drew houses and layouts. But then
Yes.
I think like after that, it was like, oh no, I more so want to design it. Like I don't want to be a part of the building. So I think it might have been around that time, but that would have been younger. I would have been like 5. So
Wow.
I don't
Okay.
know.
That's
So
so cool.
so I did that, a lot of designing like rooms. I wanted to, um, I also have memories of like drawing outfits, like a fashion design.
Sure. Oh, sure. Yeah, that does not
Yeah.
surprise me for you.
Yeah. But it was kind of like all over the place in terms of
Mhm.
creation. Like I was always
Yeah.
just in a creative, imaginative mind
Yeah.
as a little kid.
And like what about like painting, drawing, like more that art modality? How did that kind of come into your life?
I didn't start painting until like college.
Ooh, okay, so later.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. I never really took a lot of art classes either, ever. So it's weird. It
Oh,
was more just
yeah.
like at home in my free time.
Yeah, because you're good at it.
Thanks.
You are.
I mean, I don't feel super good at it. Like I'm like every time I
Probably
finish a
no
paint,
artist does.
yeah, every time I look at a paint, because I don't like it's not like a passion career.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yes.
really trying to perfect it in any way. It's just fun. It's literally
Yeah.
just fun.
Yeah.
But then after I'm like, oh shit, I could have did it a different way. Where's the undo button?
Oh, sure, sure. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's like fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Why?
not surprised that you were a very imaginative kid.
Yeah.
Like, and I love it. The books, like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you still have that outlet, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's still a passion for you.
Yeah. Like English and art class and all of that were my favorite.
Okay.
I remember being in middle school or not middle school, like it was elementary school, but being in math class
Yeah.
and we would do flashcards.
Oh,
And I feel
sure.
like this just speaks to like my projectorness, like looking back. We
Yeah.
would stand in two lines
Oh
and
gosh.
have like team competitions of who could get through the deck
Oh,
faster.
oh,
And I remember just being in like sheer panic. Not like I was okay at math. Like it wasn't my favorite subject, but I mean, I passed and did well, B's, whatever.
sure.
But I remember like being like having a sheer panic waiting in line to
Oh
go
my
up and
gosh.
like answer the multiplication freaking card. And I feel
Yes.
like that's like my little projector self was like, no
Right.
sacral.
Oh, yes. Which,
Yeah.
okay, that's another question I had too, which we can just jump kind of right to that because with you being a splenic projector as
Mm-hmm.
well, like I'm curious as you have experienced and learning more and more about human design for yourself and helping others, when you
Mm-hmm.
do look back, especially school wise, like, are there things that come up that you're like, "Oh, no wonder that
Mm-hmm.
was not for me?" And I'll just be curious, like, as a splenic projector, kind of looking back, what those things are, like, what really was like, "This system is not built for my type of energy."
I feel like that came through more in sports,
Ooh, okay, tell me more about that.
and like, yeah, and like the after school activities and stuff. Like, I can remember
Mm.
being like tired,
Yeah, absolutely.
like exhausted. And I think maybe in sports is when I started to like develop like more shame around it too. Like, I think elementary school was more like, okay, I'm just doing whatever I want as a young
Sure.
kid. But I think like middle school, high school is when I started to be like, shit, why am I like, I can't keep up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, there was a point in practice I remember
Mm,
we would do conditioning, right, for volleyball, and it would be
okay.
like a week of 8-hour days of volleyball.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like,
No way.
I mean, I did it. I mean, I was also a
Sure.
kid, so like
Right, right.
had more
Yes,
physical
yes.
energy then.
Metabolically, things are happening there.
Yeah. um, but I can remember like we would do morning, afternoon, and nighttime sessions. Like I'm pretty sure that's how it was. And I remember like the afternoon, I was just like, oh my God, I want to go home. Like, I
Yeah,
want to go home.
yeah.
And another thing is when I played basketball, which I only played that for like a hot minute because
Okay.
way too much running. Like, speaking of running,
Yes, that is. You are
um,
doing that.
just consistent,
Yeah,
consistent running. You never stop in basketball.
yeah.
I remember one time I like stubbed my finger, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It happened. Someone
Yeah.
passed me the ball. I was like, ow. And I asked my mom if I could get a brace at Rite Aid. I was like, I don't think I could play. But I think like looking back at those like funny moments, I
Yep.
think that was me being a projector
Sure.
or at least trying to be a projector
Right.
and doing like a manipulative way of like being a projector because then it wasn't anywhere in my awareness or my parents or
Oh,
like it
sure.
was just so
Right.
traditional to
Yep.
follow the rules,
Yep.
move and work the way other people are, especially on, a team.
Yeah.
you're always trying to be the best on the team. So
Yeah.
I laugh at that
What did
now.
you enjoy the most about sports? Or did you?
Probably the team.
The people?
Like it was like, yeah, the energy of having a team.
Mm-hmm.
Like I liked like getting excited for the games and like I think it was more like the inspirational side of
Yeah.
it and the
Yeah.
excitement
Yep.
of it all. I liked playing. I mean, I loved playing volleyball, but
Sure.
yeah, I mean, I was a different energy type for sure
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
than
that's so
those around
awesome.
me.
Yeah. Right. And did you, I mean, was that something you like were sensing then, or was it more of like, what's wrong with me? Like, how was that like settling at that phase of life?
I mean, this kind of came up when I was doing my hair. Like think because
Oh,
I looked at your question
yeah.
so fast and then
Yeah.
like I don't even know what question prompted this thought, but I feel like what like where I started to notice that I was like quote unquote like different.
Okay.
We're all different, right? Like we're
Yes.
all different. But like my parents, they were amazing, right? They were always telling me I was special. I
Hmm.
could do anything I wanted, like
Hmm.
I remember, I when I wrote poetry for school and stuff and I would read it to the class, like other parents or even teachers would be like, "Wow, like you're wise beyond your ears. You're wise beyond your years, Jenna. Like how do you
Yeah.
know these things?" Like I was always like complimented for being different, but
Mm.
then I couldn't explain it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
how do you know this thing? Like, oh my God, what made you write those words? Like, I would write poetry and my family would like cry.
Oh,
And they'd be like,
yeah.
how do you write like that? And I would always be like, I don't know. Like, I don't know
Yep.
why. I don't know what it like. I think I would started to notice when I couldn't explain myself.
Nice.
And I don't think it like I made the connection that like, oh well, I'm just different. We're made to be different. But there was like
Right.
a moments started to happen where I would be like, but that would frustrate me that I couldn't
Ooh.
explain myself.
Oh,
'Cause then I
okay.
would take those things and I would, constantly be recognized as a little kid. I
Mm.
was very loved, but then I would go to like a team event
Yeah.
or there would be a moment in school, like freaking flashcards where I would be like, feel so out of place and be like,
Yeah.
wait, I'm special. I know things, but like
Right.
I don't fit in the masses as easily.
Yes.
So I started to like notice that, but I think it just came out of it manifested in frustration and confusion more so than I could make sense of it.
Right. I mean, and did that impact you? Or was it more like it doesn't sound like it was a loss of identity. It was just like awareness starting to happen.
Yeah. And more like, I think that's where, and this is conditioning I've had to release even in the last few years of like, what's my role? What's my
Mm, mhm.
purpose? Like that's where I think those questions probably rooted from
Yeah.
because I was getting recognition. I was feeling special as a child, but then it didn't like the puzzle piece didn't fit in the activities that I was participating in.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
would feel out of place there. So I think that's probably where I started to develop this conditioning of like
Mm.
you got to find your purpose, you got to find your thing.
Yeah.
What am I
Yeah.
going to do in career? That's where all those questions started to probably stem from.
Sure. I feel like so many people listening to this are going to be like, "Oh my god, me too." Like I feel like I've never heard it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't thought about that
Sure.
in this way until now, but yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Right. Right. Yes. Yes. And like, okay, I also want to highlight for like college years.
Mhm.
Like, were you somebody who you're like, okay, I know what I'm gonna go to college for? Like, what was kind of that
Yeah.
time of life? Because we
No,
haven't
like
talked about
I
college
hate
years.
it. I know. I
Yeah,
hated picking my major.
I
Like
did
it
too.
wasn't
Yeah.
yeah, I think like that I mean, that is like a pattern clearly now that we're seeing the pattern. Thank you, Jess, for bringing this to my attention.
Anytime, anytime.
I mean, I'm sure I've meditated on it at
Oh
some
yeah.
point over the last few years, but I can't have a running log of all my thoughts.
Right.
Yeah, I think like I struggled to know where to go and what to go for. And I
Mm,
can remember sitting in the office at my college and trying to pick my degree.
yeah.
And it was like, they had all the pamphlets and all the
Oh
things, and
yes.
you're like pulling them out. I'm like, is this me? Is this me? I don't know. Do I want to do
Mhm.
this? And I think the driver of that was like money and career growth. Like
Yep.
that, I felt like, okay, well, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't really know what I'm good at per
Yeah.
se, that
Sure.
also seems to make money.
Yeah.
So honestly, that's how I landed with communications.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a degree in communication with a focus in public relations,
Ooh, yep.
but I remember hating public relations.
I mean, what did that even mean in college? What did you have to do?
I mean, we wrote press releases, we studied, like,
Yeah.
we did different case studies on
Yeah.
businesses and some of their issues. And,
Mhm. Mhm.
if this happened, how would you communicate this in a
Yep.
release? I don't know. I mean,
Manipulate the words.
exactly.
Yeah.
And like, press releases are the most boring thing to ever write.
Ooh, probably
Going
I
from
don't I've
somebody
never
like
read
who
one.
exactly.
Nope.
Exactly. Like, I used to write poetry and stuff, and then I was in college, like, writing these boring, like, super to the point messages and
Yeah.
pieces, and I didn't love it.
Was there any, like, I'm thinking back to my experience when, like, the first 2 years you have to take the standard
Mhm.
credits that, like, everyone's gotta take whatever amount, but was there any class in college that you took that was, like, surprisingly enjoyable for you?
Yeah. 2 are coming to mind right now.
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed, public speaking. Like,
Wow,
I
you
for
did you have to take that class or was
yeah, I think
okay.
yeah, everybody did because Nick took it, and he's nowhere near a communications degree,
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, and I
okay.
enjoyed it because
Oof,
we'd have to, like, take different subjects and write
mhm,
about them in different ways, and I just love that, and I
yeah,
do love speaking, but
yeah,
the other one was and that was more aligned to my, um, what's it
your
called?
major.
Degree.
Yeah,
Degree, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
or yeah, major. But the other one I loved was graphic design.
Ooh, okay, so that was more
I loved
elective.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
True. Look at you. I don't
I
know, I feel like I don't remember like, high school, college. That's my area of my life that I'm like, might have blocked out
for sure. I
a little
mean,
bit.
that's pretty standard for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there's those years where it's like, "Did that happen?
Yeah. But
Maybe, I don't
I
know."
took graphic design, and I remember now that we're talking,
Oh, that's
like, this is one
cool.
of those feelings, my spleen is speaking of like, I almost switched my major,
Yeah.
but I was like halfway through and I was like, it's not worth it. I could
Ugh,
just
yeah,
wing it, but
right.
I
Oh, I
loved it.
love that.
Hmm.
I think that's cool. Like, I think that's a cool experience to be able to have.
Hmm.
But then it
Yeah.
is hard to, like, change a major just based off of, like, one class.
One class. Yeah. And that one required a lot of, just a lot that I didn't have already
Right, right.
in my
Yes.
bucket of courses and
Yeah.
credits.
I love that. I mean, it is interesting to hear childhood passions
Mhm.
and then but really then that, like, the drive for career and,
Mhm.
like, financial stability once you get into college, like, that was the priority, and so then that kind of shifted the areas
Mhm.
that you spent your time with, but
Yeah.
still were pulled around with that graphic design to at least try that out.
Yeah, and I feel like as you're saying this, I'm also remembering or at least just recognizing that a lot of, like, my creativity was
Mhm.
also tied to, like, making people feel something, which obviously every artist
Yeah.
is doing that, but I think it was very influenced by my everyday life a lot.
Okay.
And, like, I don't know, there's just themes of
Yep.
my relationships throughout my creativity.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, that's cool.
one of my freaking and this is, like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, it's
Share
weird
it.
to
Share it.
but I found a poem that I wrote my friend in elementary school when she
Oh.
was mad at me.
Oh, an
And,
apology poem?
like yeah, it was, like and it
Oh
all
my
rhymed too. It was like, "I'm
of
so
course.
sorry," like, it was just and it was, like, 4 pages.
Oh my gosh, wow.
So I guess what I'm saying is and I mean, I feel like this is dumb to even say because 'cause I'm sure this is how every artist feels. I don't know if I consider myself an artist, but a lot of that was motivated by my relationships. Like, wanting to be creative, I think, was motivated a lot by my friends in school and, like, "Were we fighting?" Or any, like,
Sure.
little thing like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I think, like, in high school and college, relationships got a bit more dramatic
Mhm.
and overwhelming, and
Mhm.
I didn't use that as an outlet anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I kinda kept it more to myself, so that's kind of interesting to think about.
And where is it at now for you?
I feel like I'm 7 years old.
Perfect age.
Like, well, like some of the things that I found in that container that my mom kept.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, I'm like, is this my adult journal or is this the
right,
7-year-old Jenna's journal? Because I'm like literally writing the same things at just like a higher IQ and EQ
right.
level. Um, so I feel like I've come back to that childlike self the last 3 years a lot in terms
Yeah,
of expression and sharing that expression with the world.
right. I mean, because it just sounds like that is part of your energy. Like
Yeah.
that is how emotions are processed for
Yeah,
you.
for sure.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And well, and that's a nice segue to I really want to spend some time around like human design.
Hmm.
Um, and with human design, I mean, I imagine you probably weren't surprised when the dots started to connect and like, oh, splenic projector. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, did you feel already at home as you were first diving in with human design?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everybody has this moment, like a very split second where I was like, no, I'm a manifester.
Ooh, okay, okay.
But I feel like, I don't know, those two can be confusing when you first read them
Oh yeah.
because
Yes.
it's initiating versus guiding, like
Uh-huh.
once I started to look at the patterns and look back at my life, I was like, oh no, I was guiding. I wasn't like starting the thing. So
Yes. Oh, that's a
yes, I
great
did feel,
distinction too.
yeah, I felt very at home though once I the split second happened and then I
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah.
Was there anything that really surprised you as again, like more like the initial
Mhm.
kind of phase of taking it in?
Um, no.
Ooh, okay.
No, because I mean at first you're reading um your type, your
Mm-hmm.
strategy, and even waiting to be invited. I immediately was like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Were you
Like I
like
think
bummed? Was it like a,
um
oh my,
no,
like,
I was relieved.
oh, relieved. Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, "Oh my God, okay, I don't have to keep forcing. I don't have to keep like I don't have to do
Mm,
5 days of conditioning and volleyball to prove myself." It was like, just, I'm going to sit on like the metaphor, like, I'm just going to sit on the sidelines. You let me know when you want me to come in. Like,
yes,
you let
yes.
me know. Like, I don't have to keep trying to
Oh,
like
that's
be
perfect.
something or force something that isn't real or doesn't feel
Y-
right in my
Yeah.
energy. So, yeah,
Yes.
I felt like a lot of relief hearing that. And then,
Okay.
like, even the spleen,
Mm-hmm.
like, I just had a lot of things come up where I was like, oh, I knew that was right. I knew that was right. I knew that. Yeah, the evidence was there as soon as I started studying.
Oh, that's so great. And even with like your spleen, I know you say now it's very like auditory.
Mhm.
When you can like look back in life and be like, "Oh, I knew that. I knew that." Was there still that auditory or has that like really like been loved up on these last 3 years knowing your design?
I can't really say because I don't know if I remember the
Mhm.
moments and, like, the words that I was feeling, like,
Mhm.
I didn't have that awareness back then,
Yeah.
or I wasn't, like, recording it or marking it as important back then. I mean, I
Yeah.
had it, but so I feel like it was more of, like, knowings,
Mhm.
just the knowing, not the
Yep.
audio.
Yep. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And now I want you to just like read your poems from back then and be like, "Oh, look, there's my spleen right there." Like
True.
that.
Yeah.
That
I
could
know,
be
I'm probably gonna have to
insane.
pull them out again.
Oh, you're gonna have to like share some of them on our
We'll have a
Instagram so people
podcast
can
where
see
it's,
it.
like, Jenna's poetry day.
Yes. Oh my gosh, let's do it.
Yeah.
I would love to see you perform your poetry for all of us.
I mean, I haven't performed poetry since I was, like, in elementary school,
It's
but
perfect. It's perfect.
yeah,
One
we'll
of these
see.
days, we'll
We'll
definitely do
see.
that. Okay, I would be curious as well with human design. I'm always fascinated by profile for people.
Mhm.
And I just would love to hear, like, as you were learning that, experimenting with it, like, how is that for you? Because part of your profile is that second line, but I would just kind of love you to take the floor
Mhm.
and talk about your profile.
Yeah, I would say I know in the last answer, I was like, "No, I loved everything about my design." I would say out of all of it, my profile was the hardest to grasp
Okay.
or
Yeah.
sink into
Yep.
because I'm a 2-4.
Yeah.
And a line 2 is the gifted, the
Yep.
natural.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that question came in of like, of what?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
gifted at what? I'm a natural of what?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was frustrating. And it was also, I mean, I learned human design at a time where I was like looking to shift careers. I felt very,
Right.
just stuck in place in the job that I was in. I knew I wanted to be helping and serving people more intimately, but it was like, in like, how? Like
Yeah.
how do I do that when I don't know how to explain what I do? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing with line twos is that we don't really see our gifts. They
Yes.
just come to life in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back, like the thing I said earlier about how sometimes people will be like, how do you know that? And I'm like,
Yes.
I don't know.
Absolutely. I was totally thinking,
Well,
oh, you gifted child?
literally don't know how I know this.
Yeah. Right. Right. But it's so clear for others to see it in you.
Yeah. But that was frustrating learning that at first because it was like, okay, well then how do I position my business? How do I,
Sure.
explain myself and my services? Like I think and maybe that was just the easiest thing to blame, I'm a
Oh,
line 2, I
sure.
can't explain myself.
Right.
Um, but then I think too, it has been supportive in the sense that I can now recognize when I'm leaning one way or the other too much. And it's
Mm,
usually to the line 2, which is the hermit.
yeah.
I often lean into the hermitsy. It's not a
I
word.
love it.
My
Just hermit
hermitness,
up.
um, way more.
Yeah.
And the line 4 is like the gift to like remind myself that I'm supposed to be out in the world as well.
Sure.
So that's
Sure.
been really supportive.
And do you feel like opportunities have come through your network, like leaning into
Mhm.
that line four?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I
That's
was
cool.
at one job and like this was the thing about invitations too, but it's also an
Mm-hmm.
example of network. I knew somebody from a previous role. We stayed connected. I was at a different company. I was starting to feel the itch. I put it out into the universe. I wanted to switch companies. He randomly messaged me on LinkedIn and like recruited me to come. And he was
Mm,
like, I can X amount your income if you want to come work for me. And I was like, oh, that was like one of my best career moves.
yeah.
And I literally just got invited. I had been applying to like, 60 jobs, had a
Yeah.
like database I was tracking. And then all of a sudden this guy just came and was like, I can add this to your income if
Yeah.
you come work for me. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure.
Right.
So that was like
Invited. Sounds great.
being invited and line 4 because I had already known him and there was that
Yeah.
connection there. So
Oh,
it made sense.
right. It can be that easy.
Hmm.
That is, I
Yeah.
love that. Is there anything with your design that like you feel like you're still, I don't want to say figuring out, but
Hmm.
like still like still exploring these parts of it?
Let me think.
Or that's like maybe the most like pulling you the most to like
Hmm.
explore more of.
I would say, and I feel like I'm taking this into a like lower frequency or turning this question into more of like like my negative answer would be I think where I still struggle, which I know
Hmm.
that's not necessarily what you asked, but is like my open head
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm inspired by so many things
Hmm.
and I sometimes forget that I don't have to act on everything that I am inspired by.
Yeah.
Like it's not my job to do something with
Mm-mm.
everything I'm inspired by or every person I want to help or everything I want to
Yeah.
elevate in the world. And I would say that's where I think I'm like settling into that truth, right now.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the last 3 years, that probably got the best of me,
Mm.
especially with paired with an open heart,
Yes.
the wanting
Yes.
to prove. So I think
Yes.
those two are kind of my like kryptonite, the
Sure.
open
Sure.
head or the undefined head and the open heart. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm inspired by everything. Oh my God, I could do it. Like I'm inspired by like
Right.
that's I've bounced back and forth through that part of my design
Hmm.
or in a negative, non-supportive way.
Sure. Sure. The
But
conditioning aspect.
yeah, but
Hmm.
I felt it less and less just
Oh,
even
yeah.
in the last 3 months.
Oh, sure. Sure. Yeah. Those open centers, there's really lots of
Hmm.
themes to learn in
Hmm.
there.
Yeah. And that's one of mine.
Yes. 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 I can definitely relate with both of those.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And like, For you, did you know right away that like, oh, I want to share human design with others? Like, how did that morph into reality for you?
Yeah, I yeah, I did. I think probably my ego did though.
Yeah, I can understand
Like
that.
I mean, I don't yeah, like I mean my ego jumped to it and wanted to tell everybody before I really integrated. And I know that there was a phase of that.
Yeah.
Um of a little bit of like pushing it into my reality
Mm.
versus like, I didn't just read my chart and then keep it to myself and walk through life and do the perfect experiment. Like I was like, oh my God, human design. What's your birth time? Da, da, da. Like,
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I definitely projected it all over everybody. But
Right.
you know what? It was all meant to be because my whole family knows their design now. All my cousins live by their strategy and authority.
I
Like
love it.
it is,
It
I
has
was
served a purpose.
exactly like I wasn't following my design by being invited for sure by beginning to start translating human design. Um,
But you
but
were sharing your joy and your fun.
true, true, very true.
So there's that too.
Yeah, it was like sometimes it was
Yeah.
appropriate, sometimes it wasn't.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a win.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But
I
then
love
I got invitations too, like the more I put it out there.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's fantastic. Is there anything else about your chart though that like you want to share with, our listeners
Mm,
or things that like haven't come up yet that you more around like your uniqueness, that's like, oh man,
mhm,
I really resonate with this and
mhm.
on that front.
Yeah, and I think it's something that we've talked about and
Mhm.
compared before, like our life theme or our
Yeah.
incarnation cross.
Yep. Yep.
So your incarnation cross is your life theme, but it's or some might say like your purpose,
Sure.
but you're not supposed to really do anything with it. Like it will unveil itself throughout your whole life until your last day on earth. Like it will manifest itself as long as you're following your strategy and authority. So
Mhm.
there's nothing to really do with it, but the awareness of it is helpful. And I think something that's cool about ours is like they're flipped. So
Yep.
we have like, I don't feel like going into the description of that, but it's very similar, but it's kind of flipped. And
Yep.
so something that we have talked about that has supported me in my journey of having a business and, just coming back home to myself has been this idea that I'm really here to gift the world stillness through
Mhm.
gate 52.
Yep.
And that has been, I think that's been interesting because I always feel like I'm moving slower than the world around me, or I'm
Uh-huh.
slowing the world down when, these sacral beings or people with different life themes are like, go, 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 get shit done, da, 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 da. And I like ground
Yep.
people in that stress. Like that's
Yes.
what I'm here to do. Um, but to like be at that place of grounding, I really benefit from leaning into joy,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
gate 58. So
Yep.
I feel like that has been something that I come back to time and time again, that incarnation cross to kind of remember like this is exactly I'm on the right path. Like if I'm following my joy and I'm moving
Yep.
a little bit slower,
Yeah,
that's
right.
correct for me.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
yours is you more so, right, have to get still to like
Yeah, the
gift
stillness
people
can trip me
joy.
up.
Yeah, where the
Yeah.
joy trips me up sometimes,
Yeah, right.
like
Yeah, yeah.
Jess more so would lean in and you know, she like her job or kind of what you
Yeah.
can ground yourself in is in stillness, and through that stillness you gift joy, and we're just
Yes.
the opposite. So
Yes.
I think
Yes.
remembering that has helped me on a bigger scale with bigger
Mhm.
decisions and knowing where I'm at in
Absolutely.
life.
Yes. That's so I love that.
Yeah.
And
And
that
also I would say my 1/8.
oh yeah, channel.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Yeah,
mean,
really.
doesn't surprise me as we're talking about creativity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
is
that's like
was
go
that
ahead.
one of those that you're like, "Oh, of course I have this." Like, yeah, this is a channel.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
yeah.
But I also can see like where I've egoically leaned into it because it's the channel of like individuality
Yep.
and, creative expression. And
Mhm.
sometimes that can trip me up. Like there's basically what I'm saying is there's a high and low frequency to everything you have in your chart.
Yes. Yes.
You can
Absolutely.
use it for good or it can be used for bad. It's just a choice and your awareness helps you make that choice. But
Yeah.
I have seen in times where that channel of individuality has like overridden my strategy and authority because I'm like, I want to be individual. I want it to be more
Yep.
unique.
Yep.
So that's just kind of been supportive in transforming some of my own blocks as well.
Ooh, sure. Oh, I like that. And is there
Mhm.
any, this is not a question I wrote down, but is there
These are the ones I
anything
wrote down.
like with human design that's like a pet peeve for you? And that could be with the system at large with how it's expressed, but are there any like pet peeves in this space?
Um, I'll just say what's coming up. And I want to start this by I know everybody is on their correct journey,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yep.
everybody is doing what they're supposed to in this very moment. You are exactly where you are. There's no judgment.
Hmm.
But a pet peeve, mostly because I've been there, done that, is this like obsession to be a human design expert as soon as you learn it.
Yes. Yes.
Like, we're not all meant to be human. Like, I don't even know if I am,
Oh,
right?
sure.
Like,
Sure.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
still
we're
playing
figuring it
out.
out.
Like, yeah, it's still playing out. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think I ever want to, and I've always known that. Like, I haven't obsessed over the information
Yep.
as much, but at first I did. Like, it was easy to get excited about it. And
Right.
I wish people would just receive it as a gift for yourself first.
Yeah.
Like, and that's something I've learned about my healing journey too, is that you don't have to take everything that you've healed and then help other people do it. It can just be yours.
100%.
Like, you're allowed to
Yes.
keep it for yourself.
Yep. It doesn't need to be monetized.
Yeah.
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 I think that's beautiful.
But am I a
Uh,
hypocrite? I don't know.
I mean, no, I was just curious because I would lean the
Yeah.
same way, or this like, I don't know, there's this like oasis or something, like,
Mhm.
oh, once you get into human design, like, ooh, just
Yeah.
wait. And I'm like, well, I
Well,
don't
and I
know.
think that comes from like, it's been 3.5 years, and that isn't even, haven't even scratched the surface of
Sure.
experimenting with human design.
Yep.
We know people who have been studying it for 7 years, for 10 years, for 20 years.
Yep.
So, I mean, we're just kind of like, we're technically very
Yeah.
much still beginners.
Oh, yes.
Um, but at the same time, even in these last 3.5 years, I've seen myself at first dive in, get obsessed, and then I've also seen myself like reject wanting to even talk about it. Like, I would get annoyed. At
Mm,
one point I got annoyed when clients like only wanted to talk about human design,
right.
because I would be like, that's like, I'm pretty sure my gift isn't just human design.
Right.
And I had
Right.
this like period of rejecting it, but I've
Hmm.
also very much come back to it as like, I've been describing it as like, it's a very nice masculine container
Hmm.
to filter whatever it is you're passionate about through.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
So, you can be a teacher and just filter your work through human design. You don't have to be a human design
Right.
expert.
Right. Right. I love it. That's a juicy conversation in and of
Yeah.
itself.
I'll
I
stop
like
there.
it. I like it. Yeah, yeah. It's all good. Um, okay, I have a couple more questions.
Hmm.
One that I don't think I actually have like you've ever told me is how did you and Nick meet? How did that romance start?
Aw, cute.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like I should have him on the podcast to talk about
We
it too.
will. We'll have him on
We have like
sometime.
two different stories.
Oh, that's interesting.
Um, so we met at our college gym, good old Heron Hall.
Nice. You gotta love the college gym.
Yeah. And I taught fitness classes
I did
all
not
through
know
college.
that.
Yes. I taught
Nice.
a boot camp.
Oh,
My
okay.
friends came to it, which is funny looking back to, like, I mean, I worked out a lot in
Mhm.
college, like a lot, but I would remember being like, "Ah, today I'm just gonna tell them what to do." Like, I could remember those moments of exhaustion, like as a projector, like those
Mhm.
days, maybe I had more classes where I would be like, yeah, I'm just gonna play the walking around role instead of the like, I'm doing it with you
Yeah,
instructor.
totally.
Um, but yeah, so I was a instructor there, and Nick worked as like equipment manager or
Yeah,
something. It was
sure.
both like through the college
Yep.
jobs. I forget what those are called. What are those called?
I have
Not
no idea.
important.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we met technically there.
Okay.
But one night when we went out, um,
Yes.
we danced.
Oh, I love
No,
it.
like fast dance, like at a bar. I think I was underage. I don't
Fast
know.
dance.
Like shaking my booty dancing.
Yeah, yeah,
And
in the club.
And he was like, hey, I'm gonna go home. Like, okay, end of the night. And I like DM'd him. I slid into his DMs and was like, hey, where'd you go? I was like
Wait,
probably
on what
buzzed.
platform?
I think, I don't know, maybe Instagram. I
I
think it
don't
might have been
know.
Instagram still.
Okay.
So he's always like, you slid into my DMs. Like he says, you slid
Right.
into my DMs.
Yep.
But the funny thing is, the reason he left that night is because I was dancing too fast. He's like, I couldn't keep up. It was too
Yeah.
fast. I
Oh,
wasn't for me.
oh my gosh. He like didn't want to be embarrassed.
No, he's just Nick. He's like, this is too fast. I'm gonna go home. I'm tired.
Oh my gosh.
Manifestor, just
Yeah, I'm
exiting.
done.
But then like that was just a moment. And then he ended up texting me on New Year's Eve
Oh, nice. Okay.
at midnight and said,
Oh,
Happy New Year's, lady. And then the rest was history.
well,
Like
isn't that
technically, I feel
adorable?
like he pursued me. I was just like, where'd you go?
Right. Let's dance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But his version is I slid into his DMs.
I love that. Okay, wait. I have a question about this dance floor situation.
Mm.
Was it like you both made eye contact and then you were just like,
I
oh, and
don't
then we're just
I don't
dancing?
totally remember.
I love this. That makes the best stories. Like,
Yeah. I don't
I
really
don't
know how it
know.
manifested. I mean, I was just always on the dance floor, so
Me too. That I mean, yes. We
yeah.
would have been besties in college, just
Mm.
hitting it up.
Oh, let's do it one day.
We will. We will. Absolutely. Okay. So and then you guys were like relationship. Like,
Yeah, we just started dating.
yeah,
Yeah. Yep. It was very like
easy.
it yeah, and it but it also like moved slow. It was like he was just very like patient and like
Mm.
he was just very patient and peaceful.
Oh, yes.
Like it was a very like the love like grew very organically and like just right. It wasn't, I had dated people where it was like a very toxic like excitement at first and then
Oh yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like Nick's like is that story of this
Right.
like beautiful organic growing love.
I love that.
It sounds so cheesy, but
I love it. I love
yeah,
it. And how
yeah.
long have you guys been together?
Since 2015.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a good chunk of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always laugh at him. I'm like, I don't really care, but I'm like, do you still like me? I feel like I've changed so much.
I mean, that's a valid question,
It
I feel
is.
like.
Yeah, because also he's a line 6, like we talked about
Yes.
in the last episode.
Yeah.
And I mean, meeting people this young, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like looking back, like I would probably encourage people not to feel like they have to find their person so early in life,
Sure. Sure.
you
Sure.
know? But I mean, I'm glad I did. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm like, wow, I've changed.
Yeah. And I'm sure I don't know, he could be like steady Eddie manifester, knows who
No,
he
he's
is.
changed. He has. But a little more steady Eddie, he's
Yeah.
not like deep in the self-reflection, like
Right.
identity work that I have been in the last 4 years.
Right. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Well, I love that. I did not know.
By the way,
Yeah.
where this is like, I guess this is happening because I'm about to blast it on the podcast. But when I told him, oh no, he was listening to our podcast. So I got in his car
Oh, hi,
and he
Nick.
was, yeah. And he's only on episode 3.
It's all good. Steady
Yeah.
Eddie. He'll
Yeah,
get there.
exactly. Steady Eddie. And he was like, so when are you going to have me on the podcast? And I was like,
Okay.
did you just initiate that? Like, because I know
Yeah.
we want to. And I was like, well, we're thinking about having like David on too. And he's like, what would be cool if Jess interviews me and you interview David?
Oh my gosh. I would be so nervous.
You would?
I would. I'd be like, I know you, but I don't know you, but I know you.
I would love it. It'd be so fun. And then I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, yeah, like do you want me to do David first? Like I was just kind of rambling and getting excited. And he's
Oh,
like,
I
well,
love
no, all 4 of us on the same episode. And then he got nervous. I was like, we'll figure out the logistics later. But
we will. We will.
but he did initiate. So
He did. I
mhm.
love that.
Yeah, so we'll put it on the queue.
Yes. Okay, and I also want you to like shout out and give some information on your dogs because I don't think we've talked about your dogs at all yet.
Mhm.
Like,
Cute.
yeah, like how long have you had them? Like, even like
Aw.
Archie, like how'd you get Archie? Like, I feel like that's like a cool story.
I'll start with Luna because
Yeah.
she's the first child and therefore she
Yeah.
takes priority.
Yes.
She's gonna be 7.
Oh,
She's a little Aussie lab mix and she's human.
yes. I mean,
Like
she
she's
is. You also are going to need to post photos
yeah.
because
And I
she's
mean,
got the
just follow me on
most.
Instagram. You'll get them all
Yeah.
every day.
Yes.
Um, But I feel like she wanted to incarnate to be an emotional support like
Oh, yeah.
dog
Yeah.
because I feel like she is like my healing friend
Oh,
because
I
she has
love
seen me like
that.
especially in the last 3 years. I mean, I've spent a lot of time at home with
Yeah.
Luna.
Yeah, yeah.
And she has seen me in my highest of highs and lowest of lows. And I'm like,
Yeah.
she really came here to just study me. Like, she's here to study a
Yes.
transformation of a human. And I find that so cute. And she really does. She gives me side eyes, she gives me dirty
Oh, yeah.
looks. Yeah.
Those looks I have not seen in any other
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah. And she's here to like mirror me back to myself.
Mm. Oh my gosh.
Whereas,
So fun.
whereas Archie, we
Yes.
adopted him in January and never did I ever want a dog this small. I that was never on my wish list of canines
I
or
feel like we
dogs,
need to
you know,
play
like
that game now. Like never have I
never
ever.
have. Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be a fun
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, never. I was always like, I don't want a dog that you can dress up. But then as soon as we got him, I
Oh.
was like, oh my God, I love dressing him up. Like
And like how'd he even come into your path?
my spleen.
Okay, how so?
I mean, me and Nick always considered getting another dog,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It never felt right, or we would try and then it would feel very forced. And then
Mhm.
just this beginning of January, I was like, I think it's time to get a dog.
I
It's
love
time to get a dog. Like I just kept hearing, it's time to get a dog. It's time to get a dog. And I'm like, okay. So we started looking, and in like 5 days, there was an adoption event. We
Yeah.
went
Nice.
and we took Luna, and she was a good little goose.
Oh, Luna.
She walked so well
Oh.
around like 45 dogs. She just like kept looking.
Wow.
Yeah, her eyes were just like real skeptical and she just followed the rules and followed us. We walked up and down this aisle of 45
Oh.
dogs. And
Wow.
at the last second, like we didn't find any that we wanted. At the last second,
Mhm.
I went back and looked and found little Archie. I call him my little Cheenie.
Mhm.
He was in this little crate,
Yeah.
this little like face, and took
Yes.
Luna back and he jumped all over Luna. And so we took him home because he was
Oh.
obsessed with Luna.
Oh. I love it. And are you glad you have
Yeah.
a small dog?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, Luna's, like, here to mirror me back to myself and be very emotional and, like, just in this,
Mhm.
like we have a very deep relationship.
Yes.
Archie, joy. He just reminds me to
Ah.
play, be goofy, like, he has added so much life to our, life and I'm pretty sure he's gotta be a generator. He's kinda like you.
Little me, just
Honestly, I
always
feel like
there.
I got, like, a little Jess just running around being like, "Come on, let's just play.
I'm a
Let's
little
just play."
Cheweenie.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I
those are
love
my
that.
children.
I do feel like when everyone's like, "Oh, what animal are you?" I'm like, "Oh, like I'm like a golden
Um,
retriever. I'm a
I feel
dog of
like
some
you're a
sort."
Joweenie.
Maybe. I haven't met one yet in
Yeah.
person.
And I'm like Luna. I'm like, I don't know.
See, but I feel like you would be
Okay, yeah, tell me.
like a
I
sea
need to know.
creature or some
A secret.
like a I mean, no, like something in the sea, not like a I didn't mean like a creature of the sea, just like a like dolphin, but not dolphin.
A dolphin?
Yeah, like something
What
kind of
about
magical and
is a dolphin
intelligent,
magical?
but like, ooh, can like do the things. I don't know. What would you say you would be as an animal?
I don't I'm just
Or
like
maybe a bird because you love birds.
I feel like I'd be a bird.
What kind of bird?
I don't know.
See? I don't really know birds that well. I
I
don't feel
know,
that
that's
good.
kind of I mean, I'm like I like them, but I don't have a lot of names on docket right
Right.
now.
Not bird watching lately these days.
Yeah, I don't have my trees anymore. Yeah, I
But
don't know. I feel
or
like I'd
like
be more
an
of a bird.
owl, like something like
Maybe.
wise
That's
or
my like an owl represents my spirit team. Like one spirit guide
oh.
is an owl.
Ooh.
So I don't know if
Yep.
I'm the owl or it's just means something to me.
Right, right.
Is that me?
Oh my
Or is
gosh.
that a message for me?
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, I'm gonna end on this last question because I feel like
Okay.
we may have done this for a while. I actually don't know when we started.
Yeah.
But I have to ask you because you asked me and I was like, oh, I don't know. But what is your biggest
Mm,
fear?
Okay. So first I'll do like surface level, very human like fears, kind of like how you
Sure.
did.
Yep.
Heights.
Oh, always?
Yeah, as far as I can remember.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't love roller coasters.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really trying not to say that I hate flying because I don't
Yes.
want to keep repeating that story.
Yeah.
But previously I've hated flying.
Hasn't been a great experience
Don't
so
love it
far.
now, um but I've been doing like reprogramming work on
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Like I've
You
been
have.
doing
Because you
yeah.
even like worked with somebody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Okay.
an
Yeah.
NLP professional who
Yeah.
works on like phobias.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that's going to subside in this lifetime.
Yes.
But I mean, I can't not say it. I'm absolutely hate flying.
Yeah.
And
All
then,
good.
oh, okay. So more, I think like soul spiritual fears.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is interesting, but I think it's like not communicating like what I see before I die.
Oh, okay. In what way?
Like not voice like and I don't know if I'm like going to
Mm,
describe this well, but and I don't like have this fear of like dying tomorrow at all. Like me and Nick were
yeah.
talking the other day how we're so much more comfortable with death than we were like 5 years ago.
Oh, oh man,
But
that's a good
it's
conversation.
yeah. I don't know. I feel much more cozy around that subject than I used to.
Mm,
But it's like this and it's almost like a pressure too. So like I don't know if it's fear or pressure. Like I think it's a very fine line, but
mm,
to like share what I know with the world.
mm. Like
But
to get it
also
fully out.
yeah.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I mean, that could be, that's like, I think it aligns with being a projector.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
also the gate 43, sometimes it's like that, like, oh, like I have this like thing I want to say, but like it's not the right time. So sometimes
Right.
there's that fear of like, will I get to share everything that I
Yeah.
see and translate what I'm seeing and help it like help others make sense of it
Right. Right.
on like little things, big things. I don't know. Like that's an underlying like, oh, eek. Am I getting like,
Right.
I don't know. That's what came
I
up.
I like think that's beautiful. Like that,
Thanks.
I mean, that seems like a full life, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you can look back and be like, I expressed
Yeah.
how I wanted to. Like that seems very like admirable as well. Like that's a desire, but can also see the lower vibration of it of like the fear of like, but what if I don't? What if
Yeah.
that doesn't happen?
Yeah. And I mean, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Yep.
Should have asked me while I was here.
Yeah.
But like, I would like to, and I mean, I've always wanted to write a book,
That does not surprise me.
but I don't feel connected to that at all right now in life. So I'm like, I think
Right.
it's also kind of that, like, I know it's going to come one day where I kind of actually really communicate
Mm-hmm.
everything that is meant to be communicated through me to the world, but it's not happening like super strongly
Yeah.
or clearly right now. And I'm like, oh, damn, I hope it does.
Right. Still
Yeah.
still got that desire in me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So yeah,
beautiful.
that's kind of what comes up.
Yeah. Okay, is there anything else? Anything else that you're like, dang, Jess, we
No,
didn't talk about this? Or like, come on, I want people to know this about me.
I don't think so. I mean, I feel like this was fun because it brought me back to like, I feel like a kid.
Good.
You like, I feel like you leaned more into like childhood and now I'm like all giddy and just like, hee hee hee.
Yay, go write some poetry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was fun.
Good. Good, good, good. And if any of you listening have questions, you can always slide into our DMs
Mm-hmm.
while you wait, and we would be more than happy to answer them on previous or future podcasts as well. So if something comes up, they're like, oh, I would love to hear more about this experience or that, or oh, I also have the 1-8 channel. Like, could you go into more detail? Like
Mm-hmm.
what that actually like that lived experience has been. We actually both have that channel. I have that one as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, we're here for it. Like the more
Yeah,
feedback, the better on our end.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to connect
Absolutely.
with more people who are listening.
Yes. That's gonna it yes. It'll be a blast. More to come.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can always follow us on Instagram. We're also on YouTube, people. Have we
Mm-hmm.
promoted that? No, but it's there. So if YouTube's your thing, literally you just need to search While You Wait podcast and you will see our lovely faces and you can
Mm-hmm.
view all of the episodes. You can leave comments if you like. But you got multiple ways to take the information in.
Yeah. And I'm going to make myself seen. Um, if you want to work with me in any way, I guess I should say
Yes.
this as
Oh my gosh.
well.
Yeah, we haven't talked about any of your current offerings.
Yeah, yeah. I do energy unpacks, which is like a 1 hour session where you're getting the foundations of your human design. But I would
Mhm.
say more so, it's like we're literally unpacking your energy in your life and
Yes.
what's super prominent in your life right now and using human design to do it.
Hmm.
Um, because if something isn't relevant to your life right now in your chart, like we're not going to spend time on it. So those are an option, as well
Yes.
as private coaching, which is my freaking favorite.
You're so
So
good
I
at it.
have,
Yeah.
yeah, I love private coaching. So I am taking new clients there as well for 3, 6, and 1 year experiences,
Lovely. And what
ventures.
about projectorness? I know that's something you've been thinking about launching in April.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I am going to be doing an audio series on, I'm starting with projectors because obviously that's my home.
Yep.
But I'm creating this immersion experience where I'm really going to be providing experiments in your everyday life that you can do. So you'll listen to a strategy recording, and then you're going to get like 4 to 5 experiments so that you could spend the next few weeks really leaning in and integrating that part of your design. So I really want it to be an interactive,
Yeah.
lived course, not just
Yes.
me talking in your ear.
Yes. It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Excited.
Perfect. Okay.
Thanks.
And anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Good.
That
All
was
right.
fun.
That was a lot of fun. All
Yeah.
right. Well, then I guess we'll check everyone on the next episode.
Sounds good. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.